beautiful souls. This is Ashoo here, and welcome. Namaste to you all. Welcome to my channel. Today, I would like to share something that is just happening at experientially with me for the past few days. I'm going through a very big, intense energetic shift, and I'm coming across these energetic shifts are showing me related to the energetics of Kundalini awakening process, that as we sail through different phases and cycles of the Kundalini process, how it is bringing a transformation and shifts at the deepest levels of your being. And I'm guided to create this video on the topic of does Kundalini neutralizes the energy of beliefs? Because every intense shift is bringing us closer to alignment with the energetics of Kundalini awakening and its truth, the authenticity with which it brings the transformation in our system is really happening by pulling the consciousness into that space or containment of consciousness where we have no choice but to sense and let the awareness witness the shifts that are happening and how these shifts are happening. There is I would say, a very spiritual science beneath it. There is a very systematic way these changes are happening in the fifth dimension. And the beauty of Kundalini awakening is that we're able to sense these energetics and see through the layers of what is very solid, see through the layers of what is very much existing in the 3D reality. And as you're piercing through these layers, the image that comes to me is something that we learned as children in our science classes, that how condensation happens, how evaporation happens, how this natural phenomena that is forming in our atmosphere is working with these scientific principles. Similarly, when we are going through these energetics of Kundalini awakening process, I would say the energetics of our evolutionary process, we are able to see through that information the science beneath the spiritual upliftment and evolution, which is happening at a very subtle, but in a very scientific, but in a very divinely planned ways, which may not be available to us in the form of books to study, but this is available to us in the form of felt sensing, in the form of experiencing. And this experiencing may again happen only when you surrender to the process. And for those people who are more open and awake to living more consciously and confront the shadow aspects of their being, only to grow and evolve into turning something like turning that what we say, the alchemizing the metal into gold. So something like that is happening in this process, and we know that every process has its time period, and every process has its techniques and skill sets. So similarly, as you're sailing through the different phases and stages of your spiritual awakening and spiritual growth process, a Kundalini awakening process, you will sail through different textures and flavors and intensities, and they will bring you in touch with a different kind of truth in that specific moment based upon the shifts you're experiencing. So in today's video, we're touching upon, does Kundalini neutralize the power of belief? And I would say yes. That is the whole purpose of Kundalini awakening, is deconditioning, deconstructing. But the trouble comes when we get lost in that, the difficult aspects of the deconstruction. And as we sail through this deconstruction and are able to look beneath that difficulty, and that can happen only through surrender, that are we developing that inner sight to be able to see what is happening this beneath this difficult experience for me. And what is happening is the Kundalini is guiding you to pay attention to the energetics of that difficulty that your body and mind are experiencing. So, what basically she's trying to do when you surrender to the gracefulness of the Kundalini experience and are able to see that intensity of your experience, like if your heart chakra is opening up, then the difficult emotions that may arise to the surface will be so intense, because the Kundalini process is making you experience something in 1,000 degrees more than an average consciousness would experience. So if you're going through the intense heart chakra awakening, you may feel like as if you are very sick and as if you're rebirthing. You are like a freshly born child coming out of the womb of the mother and who's not familiar with the environment in it, in his or her surroundings. It is that kind of feeling which is very not easy and intense and difficult, as if you're sick and you're hospitalized and you're rebirthing. You're not able to access those so-called good feelings, sense of warmth, connection, and a harmony in your environment. And this is a part of your deepest transformative experiences, because it is by going through these shadow aspects and sitting with them and honoring them and learning to acknowledge those emotional aspects of your being and different parts of your being that are trying to draw your attention for healing is the key in the surrender process of Kundalini awakening process. And it is through this intense healing that you are graced to experience and have the glimpses of that awareness space that lets you understand that emptiness is your key essence. Emptiness, because when you are able to even get a glimpse of an emptiness and the empty space within your consciousness, this is your empowerment. And this is here, Kundalini is making you realize that you have the capacity, you have that divine seed within you, where you can transcend the energetics of your narrative. You can transcend the energetics of your belief system. You can transcend the energetics which are so much conditioned deeply into your cellular memory. But you can do so. And this is what she's doing when she is kind of draining away your willpower from your cellular memory and making each experience so intense that you have no choice but to transcend that difficulty so that you can create more open spaces of freedom, and you are able to see at your attachment system of your cellular memory as nothing but an energy of belief that you co-created in your specific family systems. And now the energy is kind of retraining you and awakening you and enlightening you to the fact, divine fact, spiritual fact, the fact of your evolutionary process, that you have the power to shift your beliefs. You have the power to take out the energy, your precious energy, from a particular narrative and infuse and put that and redirect that energy into a different narrative. You're so powerful, you're so divine, and this is where all the co-creation is happening, or the manifestation is happening. But to reach to that manifestation, you have to go through that clearance, the clearing of the baggage, the clearance of the conditioning that has overtaken your cellular memory in a very hypnotic state, in a very subconscious way, since the day you were born, grew up, and taken these belief patterns. So she's cleansing you from the deepest layer of your subconscious, and your autonomic nervous system is kind of rewired and shifting into a different set of sensing and perceiving your reality. And this is where all the chaos is coming into picture, and your body and mind system is sensing that chaos in the ways that seems like a doomsday to you. But believe me, beneath that, a healthy shift is happening if you surrender to the process, and if you begin to focus and surrender. When I use the word surrender, uh, it's not easy to surrender, because when you are surrendering, you are experiencing a lot of system is experiencing difficulty and resistance. So it is like laying there in that difficulty is surrender. And this is where you are developing a lot of resilience, and your system is kind of getting that insulation, that resilience, where your ability to manage the challenges is enhancing. And this is where, by going through these intense difficult experiences, you're also stretching and expanding your sense of freedom, and I would say getting that autonomy of your autonomic nervous system, where you can make choices which are otherwise not possible if Kundalini energy is not helping you out to get rid of that baggage that is stuck in your cellular memory. So, yes, Kundalini does help you to get glimpses of those spaces in your consciousness where you begin to validate through the shifts you're experiencing that Kundalini is kind of neutralizing your older belief systems, which are not serving you any longer. And with each neutralization, you have a death like experience happening in your nervous system. So, this death like experience is a regeneration that is happening. So, looking at it from that perspective of regeneration, even though your system is feeling so bad, is the sure way to sail through your Kundalini process with the flying colors. And it isn't that you have sailed through one phase, you will be pushed to another phase, but kind of you are expanding that muscle, you're strengthening that muscle. And with that strength and expansion, you are spiritually evolving and growing to acknowledge your shadows as a part of an energetic system, and not kind of associating your egoic self to that any longer. As you become more skillful, you're able to see that this is all a science of spiritual energetics, and you are kind of going in and out through different cycles. And as you're going in and out to different cycles, you're developing this flexibility of going in and coming out, going in and coming out, going in. So you're like a visitor. Your awareness is becoming more witness oriented awareness. You're becoming more objective. You're beginning to understand the neutral dynamics of energy system. You're beginning to feel your sense of empowerment, and you're beginning to sense that Any kind of label is just a projection of where you want to place your attention and where you want to direct your intention. And you have the power to co-create anything you wish to with that intention, attention, awareness, and the empty space of freedom. That may sound very scary, but that is enlightening space to have a glimpse into. So I hope that I'm able to say a word or two that might help you. So if you like it, give me a thumbs up and I'll see you soon. Bye.